Merab got to his hips on that one.
Beautiful. The timing on that was fantastic.
Nice slicing elbow from O'Malley off of his back.
Oh, it looked like it cut Merab.
Yeah.
By unanimous decision, and new undisputed UFC bantamweight champion of the world.
We're gonna need to watch that again.
You're gonna watch that again.
Aren't you?
No.
What in the big, flying, 36-foot wingspan Quetzalcoatlus fuck are we doing at bantamweight? I somehow missed this, but during the post for interview with the UFC Seattle card, very same one where Dana barely hid his obvious disdain for Henry Cejudo, the big guy mentioned that we're likely going to be seeing Merab take on O'Malley in a rematch for his second defense.
How did we get there with so many different options? I think for Sean O'Malley, we could have done maybe an Aldo possibility. There's, especially with him, so many options. How did the bantamweight division shake?
They want to fight each other. I think people want to see it. Good?
Why exactly are we doing this again? Right now? It's not like O'Malley was some long-reigning champ or anything. And I'm aware their first fight was kind of competitive. I don't think it's impossible that Sugar could catch Merab with something and get the belt back, but I wouldn't exactly bet the house on it. This matchup just makes no sense at all. This is just more blatant favoritism by the top brass. It's literally just Covington getting the title shot against Edwards all over again. Maybe not quite as egregious since Colby was coming off of basically 2 years sitting on the sidelines, but at the absolute bare minimum, the guy was coming off a win against Jorge Masvidal. A washed Masvidal, but regardless, when he was pressed on the questionable choice back then, the gaslighting was insane. He'd basically just be like, okay, so who else deserves it over Colby? Colby's the obvious next one. And then put corks in his ears when people suggested better options. It didn't help that the fight ended up being certified dog water. And then there was Adesanya getting the title shot against DDP after sitting around scratching his ass for a year on the sidelines. The UFC so obviously wanted Izzy back as champ that they were more willing to make that fight with him coming off a loss rather than run back the Duplessis-Strickland fight, a fight which actually warranted an immediate rematch the most as it was so damn close. I get the marketing decisions behind it, and the fight ended up being great, but still, it was so out in the open and obvious that this matchup was made in the hopes that Izzy would win. DDP has gone on to prove himself as a big name and an exciting champ, but if the UFC were that stellar about him from the jump and didn't have a clear bias, they wouldn't have jumped at this. And now we got the bantamweight beanstalk with the personality of a handful of basmati rice waltzing back into a title shot after sitting around doing nothing for 6 months. This isn't a case of the first one being super close either, akin to DDP versus Strickland 1. It was clear who the winner was. Merab didn't tear O'Malley limb from limb or anything, but he did his thing, and Sean looked like he just didn't have any of the sauce that night. That's not me saying that as an excuse. I'd pick Merab to beat him no matter how many times they fought for the most part, but I only bring that up to illustrate that it's not like the fight was explosive and fun and super memorable. It was kind of cheeks, to be honest. So name value of Sean aside, what is the appeal of this rematch exactly? If Sean's coming off a loss, only defended his strap once, why are we getting another one? Rematches are only interesting when both fighters have, you know, fights in between, so we can see if they've improved. I wouldn't love if Sean got another shot off of only one defense even, but at the least, if he went in there and starched someone with a piston right hand or took their ass to town for 25 minutes and turned them into Swiss cheese with his gangly limbs, then I'd be a little more intrigued. Hell, it would even go farther if he actually fought a grappler and we got to see some takedown defense. No one can quite put on the same pace as Merab, not by a long shot, but it would at least put the idea in my mind that O'Malley could maybe win. But as it stands right now, I just see Merab doing the same thing to him, to be honest. It doesn't matter what the skill discrepancies are in this dude's matchups. It doesn't matter what advantages people have on him. He just has the lung capacity of a bird of prey.
Air sacs are used in breathing. They ensure that oxygen-rich air flows continually through the lungs when breathing in and out. It's a very efficient system, similar to that of birds.
Okay, here's the issue. Here's where I'll give him some credit. The next title challenger for Merab isn't exactly obvious. He did just defend his belt, granted, but even still, if he wants to come back by, say, International Fight Week or some other time in the summer, who exactly do you feed to him? Umar just lost to him. Figgy and Sandhagen are both coming off of losses, but are actually slated to fight each other. I suppose you could do the winner of those two at some point. Chito Avera's coming off a 2-fight skid. Song Yadong is coming off a win, but kind of a bogus one against Cejudo. Yeah. I mentioned a few videos back that bantamweight is in contention for the best division to me, and I still hold to that based on how stacked it is, but I will admit, it's in a bit of an awkward spot right now. I'm sure that it will be out of this tangled mess in about a year's time, but for now, the line of succession isn't exactly clear. Oh, wait, no, it totally is. Give it to Peter Yan. He's the only one that makes sense. The Russian boxing monster is finally getting back in the win column over Yadong and Figgy recently, after a few harrowing years where the dude just had no luck. So if our options are between an immediate rematch to O'Malley compared to a rematch several years in the making in the Petr Yan one, I'll take the latter, thanks. And the only reason I'm not super hyped for this fight is because Merab made Yan look like a bump on a log in their first one. It's crazy because Yan was actually able to stuff most of the takedowns Merab hurled at him, but the pace was just so incessant that he didn't have a chance to get anything going. It was surreal seeing him get done that bad. So for me, it's still a similar case of a rematch that isn't that interesting because I feel like the champ is just going to do the same thing to him again. Merab is one of those where you know exactly what he's going to attempt to do in there, but good luck stopping it. That being said, it's no question that he's the better option for Merab's next defense. In the meantime, maybe do O'Malley versus Umar? Hey man, I know that's not going to happen. UFC is not going to do that to their golden goose. But if it's their desire to have him get the belt back, if that's what they want, and he's successful in doing that, he's gonna have to fight this guy in the future anyway. Besides that, have the winner of Sandhagen versus Figgy get the next shot maybe? Have Song Yadong fight Rob Font or something. Cheeto can take on an up-and-comer to try and get back in the win column. It'll work itself out, I'm sure. Oh, I also didn't even mention this, but the Pantoja double champ fight was totally there. It's obviously not gonna happen now because he's already booked against Kai Kara France, and again, Dana wants to do the O'Malley rematch, but still, honestly, that may have been the best option. Ironically, Pantoja is the most deserving of double champ gold out of every other champ. He's the only one who doesn't want it, really. He's cleared out absolutely everyone to the point where they had to bring in someone from an outside organization to challenge him. I think this would have been a clear two birds with one stone type thing, since rumor has it the UFC wants champs to vacate their belts if they plan on going up a weight class to not hold anything up. Let's be real, the best thing that could happen to flyweight is Pantoja leaving. I'm sorry, I don't dislike the guy, but his presence in that division makes it so fucking boring. He already beat everyone before he even got the belt. There are zero interesting matchups down there right now. It's gotten so bad that people were talking about Figgy going back down to challenge him. Good God. On the bantamweight side of things, this fight would have given the matchmakers time to kind of shake things up so the new contenders would make a little more sense. And on top of that, I'd actually dig the fight stylistically. I would have been really interested to see two dominant fighters face each other, but oh well. O'Malley time, yay. Oh, and another thing. This is only loosely related to the topic and didn't really warrant a full video, so I'm just gonna tack it on the end here. What the fuck are they doing to Jose Aldo? What did our boy do to deserve being a fucking stepping stool for the no-name up-and-comers to reach the top shelf of the medicine cabinet? I know he retired for a while and went away to box, but is this supposed to be them punishing him or something? I understood the Martinez matchup. That was winnable, puts him back in the top 10, fine, whatever. But the Mario Batista one was questionable itself, and he ended up losing via getting pressed into the wall. Seriously fungal ass fight. And he's rewarded with another matchup like this that has no zing on it whatsoever. What about Cejudo? How about rematches against any of these guys in the top 10 that he already beat years ago? How about the Figgy matchup? Legend versus legend. But nope. Another short-ass matchup for one of the longest-lasting guys in the sport who's somehow still championship level at his old age. Merab couldn't do shit to this guy. Ugh. Why are they doing this?